Again, about that time of year when NFL teams are firing their head coaches, get out of town, you losers, and there's a little changing of the guard. The only constant in the NFL is change. So three teams, the Lions, Falcons, and the Texans, oh my, have already gotten rid of their head coaches. We're going to fill the vacancies as well as the other projected vacancies. So we also think that the Chargers, Jets, Jaguars, Bears, and Cowboys jobs may be wild card Cowboys. Even though, Executive Vice President Stephen Jones doth protest too much when it comes to the future of Mike McCarthy. Okay. You wanted Zimmer all along. You settled on Mike McCarthy, and you're going to throw a bajillion dollars at the guy that we're going to bring up. So 8 teams, a quarter of the league is going to have a little turnover at the headband job. So why the hell not? So first off, our NFC North brethren, the Detroit Lions. Now, I don't know where Detroit's going to go. So they're going to have a new GM as well. The Bob Quinn Patriots experiment didn't work out. Matt Patricia obviously didn't work out. Now, could they go offensive? Sure, I could see that. But I think that they're just going to go with a steadying presence, try and fix that defense, one of the worst in the NFL. Leslie Frazier. I know what you're saying, Vikings fans. But Leslie deserves another shot, and also he deserves a ton of credit for the fixing of that Bills defense. Him and Sean McDermott have put together one of the best defenses in the NFL with the Bills. So I think that Leslie's calm CEO type demeanor will do great things, and he'll bring on a great offensive coordinator. Hopefully they'll turn things around, but not too much, because screw him. Right in the face. Yeah. And next up, so you got the Falcons. Oh, by the way, with Leslie, it's really tough to be an interim head coach who takes over the head coaching job, which he did from Brad Childress, because, part of the reason why the team was in a position that they had to fire their head coach was you, bro, because you were on the staff. And Leslie, I don't think he got exactly a fair shot with the Vikings. It's unfortunate that he got settled with Christian Pond right away. So, yeah. I think Leslie's a good man. I think he's a great coach as well, especially defensively, and I think that he deserves a second shot. Next up, Falcons. So again, just like the Lions, they will have a new GM in place, so that's going to be interesting, but I think they go offensive. I think that they have a little bit of firepower still left as the aging Matt Ryan just continues to sling it all over the place, but bring in Arthur Smith, Titans offensive coordinator. Now, Arthur Smith has been absolutely dynamite as the architect of the Titans offense, and now he gets his due. So you do have Matt Ryan, you do have Julio, you do have Calvin Ridley. Now with the Titans, Derrick Henry, obviously the star of the show. Falcons don't really have that. I mean, you have the corpse of Todd Gurley, that's about it. Their offensive line is pretty decent, but also you look at the way that they've incorporated A.J. Brown. Could you imagine A.J. Brown, Calvin Ridley, or Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley in that A.J. Brown type role? Even Corey Davis. Woo! You love it. You love it. Next up, so the Texans, again, the third team that's going to have a new GM head coach. And now it's nice and different than some of the other jobs in that you do have a young franchise quarterback in Deshaun Watson. He's revved up, ready to go. Also, you don't have a first or second round pick because of the genius of Bill O'Brien, but gotta do it. Gotta do it. Eric Bieniemy, Chiefs OC. Bieniemy and Deshaun, like this. Forever. It's going to be great. Finally, Deshaun gets a great pairing with a brilliant offensive mind. Bieniemy, when he was running backs coach of the Vikings, he was the last coach that actually got through to Adrian Peterson. Eric Bieniemy is a leader of men. I think he's going to do a phenomenal job with the Texans. Next up, so perceived opening, because I don't think Anthony Lynn can survive this. There's just too many close games that the Chargers give away, just too many mistakes, too many comical errors when it comes to game management and clock management. Yeah. You got to go. You got to clean house there. But Brian Schottenheimer. That's right. Shotty Too Hotty takes over his father's old team. Now, when Marty got fired by the Chargers is when A.J. Smith was the GM. He and Marty didn't see eye to eye on a myriad of things. And Marty got fired after going 14-2. And yeah, you dropped one in the divisional round against the Patriots. Who doesn't drop one against the Patriots during that era? But yeah, it's weird, but the cats and the cradle and the silver spoon, and the kid comes in for a little bit of vengeance. And also, you got Justin Herbert, you got Keenan Allen, you got Mike Williams, and man, super intriguing. Other side of the ball, you got Joey Bosa. Let's go. I'm already fired up. Football's great. So next perceived opening. So the Jets, Adam Gase is going to get fired. Will Joe Douglas keep his job? I don't know, but it is a little bit tenuous taking a job with a GM who could be on thin ice, but there's only 32 of these jobs, and also only one of them is going to have Trevor Lawrence. So bring on in Brian Daboll, the Bills offensive coordinator. So Daboll's been all over the NFC East. He was a longtime assistant under Belichick on the Patriots. He was the Jets quarterbacks coach from 07, 08 with Mangenius, as well as he's been the Bills OC for the last 3 years. And he deserves a ton of credit for the development of Josh Allen. Yeah, so McDermott loses both of his coordinators just in one fell swoop. That's a poison pill of success. It sucks, bro. But Daboll gets his shot to be the leader of men in New York. He's from the area, and then he gets Trevor Lawrence. And also, I mean, the cover's not exactly bare. I mean, you got Mekhi Becton, you got Denzel Mims, you got Pat Elflein. Sure, why not? Next up. So, Dave Caldwell's already fired as GM of the Jaguars. Doug Marrone probably won't be too far behind, but you never know. Robert Saleh, Niners defense coordinator, so gets it done. Now the Jaguars are going to have a young quarterback, probably Justin Fields, but that defense needs to be fixed. They do have a lot of young, fun, fast pieces. Miles Jack and company are super intriguing, but they just do need a leader. Saleh could be and should be that guy finally getting his opportunity. And hell, maybe he brings Richard Sherman down to Jacksonville with him. I mean, Richard Sherman's been a big proponent of Saleh for a number of years since he's been in San Francisco and going to be a free agent. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to resign him. So there you go. Next up, so got the Bears. Now, I think Ryan Pace deserves to be fired, and ipso facto, Matt Nagy deserves to be fired as well. The biggest frauds in NFL history. Vikings are prove it again on Sunday. So, God, this is fun. Jim Harbaugh coming down from Michigan. Down, bring it. Because Harbaugh, captain comeback, former quarterback of the Bears, so he got those ties. And also, I think Harbaugh's shtick, it works in the NFL in short bursts. Like, it worked in San Francisco for a while. He feuded with the GM and ownership, and then he forced his way out of there, went back to Michigan because he's a Michigan man. It's been an abject failure. This year is the only year they didn't lose to Ohio State because they ran away from the game and opted out due to COVID. So, yeah, he needs to get back in the pro game. I think the Bears make a ton of sense. Although, if the Bears did fire Matt Nagy, even though I said earlier that being the interim and then taking over doesn't make a lot of sense, but if they wanted to give the reins to Chuck Pagano, who's their defense coordinator, obviously he had his run as the Colts head coach. I think he deserves a second shot as well. He's done phenomenal work with that defense. Defense ain't the problem. That anemic offense is, even though Trubisky threw 3 touchdowns on Sunday. But lastly, so the Cowboys. Again, wild card because they're like, well, no, Mike McCarthy's not going to be fired. Okay, baloney to that. So Jerry Jones is not getting any younger. He wants some spice. He wants some stank. He wants some sexiness on offense. So he's going to throw $11 billion at Diamond Joe Brady. Panthers offensive coordinator last year, LSU passing game coordinator, national champion. Woo! You love that, man. You love it. Where, again, young Tom Landry filling in for the guy who fired Tom Landry when he bought the team in '89. Bring it. And the Cowboys are interesting. So you got Dak back healthy, and then you got Amari and CeeDee Lamb and Gallup and Zeke. Super attractive job, especially if you're young. Wunderkind, as Joe Brady is reported to be. So, other head coaching candidates who didn't get their shot this time around, Matt Campbell, the head coach at Iowa State. I actually think that he'll stay in Ames. Brian Kelly, Notre Dame. Is it finally time for him to make a jump? I actually don't know if his style would work in the NFL. Because I think that him just being kind of a to like 18, 19-year-old kids, it works, but I don't know about grown-ass men. Chuck Pagano, like we mentioned with Bears DC, I think he deserves a shot. Todd Bowles, the Bucs defense coordinator, and now it's not just because the Bucs defense ran circles around the Vikings, but Todd Bowles, he got done dirty with the Jets. He deserves a second shot. Maybe once BA retires, that could be an interesting spot, whether him or Leftwich taking over there. Nathaniel Hackett, the passing game coordinator, quarterbacks coach under the 12-year-old boy in Green Bay. Sure. Son of legendary coach Paul Hackett. Sure. Who was Paul Hackett was supposed to be the original Sean McVay, by the way, because he was like a 34-year-old assistant who got hired to update Tom Landry's passing game, and then he's like, nah. And also Wink Martindale, the Ravens DC, Josh McDaniels, the perennial coach in waiting in New England, if he doesn't take the Colts job. And then also Brandon Staley, the DC of the Rams, a.k.a. the defensive Sean McVay. I don't know. But, that's our projections. Take a look at the head coaching jobs that are open, 3 of them, and ones that could be open, 5 more. Also, there's always going to be another random wild card. So does the Philly job open up? Like, does Howie Roseman really have the cojones to fire a Super Bowl winning head coach from 4 years ago? They just really fired Doug, even though Jalen Hurts is looking good now. Carson Wentz is the problem, bro. You're the one who picked him. You're the one who paid him, but okay. I guess you never know. I'll always look out for a wild card, but that's our takes right now. What are your thoughts on our thoughts? Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Pull some in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.